We live in a really noisy world, full of people who are constantly telling us what to do and how to think. I'm Jack Beck, here at Capernaum, the home of Jesus, to listen to how people were listening to Jesus in this place. The building that we're entering right here is a 4th, 5th century synagogue. This building, it was not around at the time of Jesus, but it's built on top of a 1st century synagogue, the very building in which Jesus taught. The Gospel of Mark is filled with pages that share the sorts of things Jesus said in this place. He invites us to listen to how people are listening to Jesus. Mark chapter 1, verse 22, the people were amazed at his teaching because he taught them as one who had authority and not as the teachers of the law. Folks, there's nothing more fundamental to Judaism of the 1st century than this fact. You could not hold yourself out as an authorized teacher, as a rabbi, unless you were authorized to teach. Jesus had never been authorized to teach by the Jerusalem schools. And yet, note how the people are reacting to him. He's teaching like one who's got authority and not like the teachers of the teachers. That doesn't surprise me, because in Hebrews 1, we're told in the past, God spoke to us in many and various ways, but in these last days, he's spoken to us through his Son. We live in a very noisy world, full of voices telling us what to do, how to think. Here's how you lose weight. Here's the kind of car that you should buy. Here's the kind of breakfast cereal you should eat. There's another voice that's calling out. It's a voice that says, blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Forgive each other as I've forgiven you, and do good to those who harm you. That's a voice worth listening to. In the past, God spoke to us in many and various ways. But in these last days, in this place, God has spoken to us through his Son.